r/ask Reddit. If you woke up as a millionaire, which is the first thing you would buy? A house. A green dress. But not a real green dress, that's cruel. Can't forget some art too. Can't go wrong with a Garfunkel. 2. A tree fort. With a little tiny fridge in there. And we could just go up there and open the fridge and there'd be snacks laid out for us with little pre-wrapped sausages and things. They have pre-wrapped sausages but they don't have pre-wrapped bacon. This actually happened to my best friend a couple of months ago. Went from paycheck to $5 million overnight after a lot of hard work. First thing he did was pay off his mom's house without her knowing, then surprised her with it. Then he called me to tell me he's buying us a house in New England. When I asked what this meant, he listed off all of his closest friends that he'd be giving keys to it to use whenever we wanted. He still lives in his studio apartment and drives his old Jeep. Dude has a heart of gold. Lottery? Producer for an up-and-coming movie studio that's been doing a lot with very little. Secured 9-figure funding for them recently and got his first commission check. You should tell him to sit down with an fiduciary financial advisor. Unlike other advisors who have titles that don't say fiduciary, they are legally obliged to act in your best interest. Many people who make it big overnight have trouble holding onto the money long term, and it can come back to bite them. A plot of land in the mountains and build a cabin on it. Hopefully with a stream or something to fish, swim and kayak around. A herd of goats as nature's lawnmower. A donkey to duck up anything that wants at those goats. Some chickens for delicious eggs and meat. Nice sized garden with some fruit and nut trees around the property. 2 or 3 lazy porch dogs. Few beehives to pollinate and get some sweet honey. Wood shop. And top it all off with a nice wind chime. Heaven. Think I'd still need a small amount of human interaction every so often though, so at the roadside end of my crazy twisty turny half gravel half dirt 3-mile driveway road, the last Sunday of every month I'd have a little pop-up shop from 8-11 am and sell flower bouquets I made the day before. Maybe some unique rocks I've found and tumbled, or some geodes. Walking sticks I've sanded and stained and wrapped some leather with some hawk feather I've collected. Give out some free plant cuttings and coffee and have some conversation. And then no one sees me for another month. I'd like to be that guy. Investments. First thing I do is move my money into my portfolio and build out my strategy. If done right, I may have enough in principle to live off my earnings and retire early. But even if it's not enough for that, like if it's only a couple million, I can let that grow and keep my job and just retire early. Having that safety net would be awesome. And here I was trying to figure out the quickest way I could get my hands on some hookers and blow. Make an investment in hookers and blow. Live off the principal. Skimming this thread has taught me a lot. TF2 Golden Frying Pan. It's funny reading through the comments. First comment was long and thoughtful about reinvesting and building out portfolios and so on. Then next comment. Duck it. Blowing it all on a golden frying pan. I like your style. I would assume that he's talking about an item worth a few $1,000 in the game TF2. Or I'm wrong and he's talking about making a real life version of it. I'd make a whole floor in my house a shower. Beef jerky. Shit's expensive, yo. I'll buy you some off Amazon. Send me a DM with it on your wishlist and I'll have it sent to you. Edit. Since it's your cake day and I love beef jerky and people who like it. As a fellow lover of beef jerky, any recommendations? I will pay off all my debts, and the debts of my family, then get my son's college fund jump started. He said millionaire, not billionaire. That's fair. I'd use it to retire now. $1 million is really a lot less than people think. Depending how old you are, you would have to live frugally. Lots of people have to live frugally without getting to retire, though. Alright, so then I change my answer to Lamborghini and a divorce lawyer. Probably his steak breakfast crunch wrap from Taco Bell. Bell's breakfast is underrated. Second would be my student debt. This guy's got his priorities right. A new car, a place to live, and a lawyer to fight for my children. That's rough, my dude. Hang in there. Nothing more ducked up than to have to fight for your kids. Yes, there is. Fighting your kids is much worse. A house and car for my coworker. She is literally the sweetest person I have ever met and she deserves the world for her and her kids. She doesn't deserve how she's treated by the customers and I wish I was able to give her the life that I grew up with. Someone's in Louvre. Very cute. If only lol. I'm a 16-year-old and she's 28. She was just really one of the only people who were nice to me when I started working and she made me feel so welcomed. Medical necessities for my fam who has cancer cause beaches insurance won't cover them. Why'd they have insurance then? A lot of American insurance basically just covers major medical emergencies, maybe cancer, etc. High premium, high deductible. Two chicks at the same time, man. Chicks dig a dude with money. Well, not all chicks. A cup of coffee, like every morning. Honestly, a millionaire isn't that remarkable anymore. According to some sources I'm seeing, there are about 18.6 million millionaires in the US. Right now, I think that by their definition I'd be one of them. And, I mean, it sure beats the alternative. But today it's just not that much money compared to the actual rich. The actual rich have many millions or billions. By contrast, millionaires now are just the upper middle class. They might drive a BMW, but they aren't buying yachts. That's why I always say that when we talk about wealth inequality, we have to remember that there is the 10% and the 1% and the 0.1%. And while I'm not going to cry about tax increases on the 10%, that's not where all the money went. They got a piece, but it's not the big piece. You want real money, look to the 0.1%. So if I woke up as one of those guys, I'd probably still buy coffee, but then probably a Ferrari. Pizza. I've been wanting a thin crust veggie pizza for ages. Couldn't justify spending the money for takeout. DM your info, address and the restaurant you like, and I will order you a pizza right now. A sensory deprivation tank and a case of liquid ketamine. As a millionaire, skip the tank and move straight to a spa room. Much less chance of you bumping a wall or something when your space is larger, enhancing the experience. Or you could use the extra cash to just rent a room in the back of an Asian spa nail salon. Heck, you could even put a pull-out couch in there and start your law practice. RTX 3090. You may be able to afford one, but there's no way you'll be able to find one. A cheap, minimalist house, plus the biggest, most decked out gym ever. With a squash court. An animal rescue shelter, especially a death row animal shelter. They are always in need of funding and volunteers. Perfect. My first thought was a house because renting sucks, but then I saw your post and amended mine to a house with an animal rescue attached. And it would probably be dogs and cats only since that's where most of my knowledge is. Teeth for my face. After a long battle with drug addiction and homelessness I made it out alive, but my teeth are an everyday reminder of what I went through and it totally kills my self-esteem. Unfortunately it's way too expensive for me to get them fixed. When I read the first part, I thought you meant teeth implanted all over your face and was like, man, that's really metal. But I continued to read and said, now that's really metal. I'm proud of you for what you've built for yourself. You'll get to that point of getting new teeth. There's a lot of places that help former addicts get new teeth, cosmetic procedures, etc. So they don't have constant reminders of that point in their life. I'd Google for places around your area. Perhaps a boring answer, but investments. Buying a house is great, but it's not something you should do on a whim. So it's almost certainly not the first thing anyone would actually buy. If you buy a good balanced portfolio of investments, you will earn income without putting that $1 million in danger of being frittered away. Then you can feel free to quit your job if you want and take your time to figure out your new life. Because a sudden windfall like that has a tendency to impact people's social and family lives, their mental health, etc. I think someone without a house would find much more security in buying a house than starting a portfolio. Most people know nothing of finance, but everyone understands a home. Not to mention a lot of people who don't have a home want a home very badly. For some of us it's been on our dream purchase list far longer than an investment portfolio. There's a really nice cafe in town that sells breakfast bagels. So probably that. However, there would be several big purchases that would be next on the list. Reasonable sized house would be the first. The services of a lawyer. then a modest house and a nice used car. I wouldn't want anyone to know I had that much money. People will try to take it from you. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.